Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Serhat Melik. I am working in the Scientific and Technological Research Council of Turkey, which is well known as TÜBİTAK, and acting as the National Contact Point Coordinator for Horizon Europe program in Turkey. I would like to welcome you and thank each one of you for being here with us today at this international networking event organized by TÜBİTAK in cooperation with Sabancı University and Marmara Municipalities Union under the Turkey in Horizon 2020 Phase 2 Technical Assistance Project. We are very pleased to be able to welcome those of you who come from research institutions, industrial organizations, and local authorities having the ambitious goal to deliver adaptation to climate change and climate neutral and smart cities missions. Before we get started, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to the respective parties who generously helped us to make this event come together to become a success. Dear guests, as you know, EU missions are among the novelties of Horizon Europe program, and they are aiming to address some of the greatest challenges facing our society via research and innovation in a systematic way. They have ambitious goals that are measurable, targeted, and they try to deliver tangible results. Adaptation to climate change is among the priorities of Turkey. We are also sharing the sensitivity and goals of the climate change and cities missions, which will contribute the ambition of Turkey to become a carbon neutral country through green development in the future. Therefore, it is our pleasure to organize international networking event dedicated to the cause of climate change and cities missions, which are interrelated in terms of goals and stakeholders. In today's event, we would like to focus on the EU's funding opportunities for adaptation to climate change and climate neutral and smart cities missions, and we try to facilitate cooperation through one-to-one online meetings. I would like to thank our distinguished presenters for their valuable contribution to our event in advance. First, I'd like to thank Mr. Sergio Sanz Hernando from Cardiff. He will deliver a presentation to the climate neutral and smart cities missions. And also, I'd like to thank Mr. Anastassos Karakostas from Center of Research and Technology Hellas for giving a presentation, Adaptation to Climate Change. In this way, you will be up to date with the latest developments about these two missions and be able to ask your question to the high-level experts. In addition, during today's event, you will be able to participate in the pitching sessions to follow the project ideas presented by the volunteer participants. Afterwards, you will be able to exchange ideas or share your project proposals with participants through one-to-one meetings. I would like to point out that you still have time to send invitations to the participants for one-to-one meetings during the event. If you have any questions, suggestions, or need clarifications, please feel free to contact us via the Q&A box in the bottom of your screen. Finally, please remember to take screenshots of the event and share them under the hashtags Decarbonize the Planet and Make Your City Smart to help us disseminate the event to a broader audience. By the end of the event, we hope you will be able to feel free and more comfortable with the respective missions. The recordings of the event, along with the presentations, document links, and responses to the questions will be able to in our website soon. Please also accept the pending one-to-one meetings request through the B2Mac platform. You may also follow us at ufukavrupa.org.tr and our social media accounts. Thank you all for joining us today and wish you all a successful event.
Thank you, Mr. Serhat Melik, for introducing our event. And I also would like to thank one more time to everyone who's tuning with us this morning for our event. I see that the variety of audience is rather rich and the number of the participants are proving me right. I believe this is the perfect time to introduce our first thematic expert of the day, Sergio Sanz Hernando. Sergio is joining us from Cardiff, based in Spain. He is the R&D director at Cardiff, and today he is about to give his presentation on the climate neutral and smart cities mission. Before Sergio's session, I would like to remind you that You're all encouraged to use Slido for your questions. On the agenda, you can see the QR code, you can scan it. If you haven't used it before, give it a try. It's obviously very user-friendly. You can scan the code. Also, you can use the hashtag, which is on the, I think, chat button. I think, Sergio, the floor is yours. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you very much for this introduction. I'm going to share my screen. So, if everything is okay, I'm going to start with my presentation. So, yes, first of all,
fine.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. First of all, I would like to thank to the organizers of this event this opportunity to explain with some detail the climate neutral and smart cities mission, and then represents CARTIF in this event. It's for me a big pleasure to collaborate with you as I did in the past. So thank you very much for once again for this opportunity. And then I'm going to start for the presentation contents that are going to be organized in 6 different points. The main objective of today is try to explain in detail a couple of things. The first, what is the context of the city's mission? I'm going to use this denomination for the climate neutral and smart cities mission. And then, in addition, I'm going to explain the opportunities we have to participate in this context, and then how, according to my experience and the experience of my research institution, how to address these opportunities, trying to find our own role in this context. So for me, all of them, all of these aspects are important in order to not only to know what we are doing with respect to the city's mission, objectives, challenges, and main targets. On the other side, I think it's also quite important to understand in what position, where are our opportunities to participate. So the first point is going to be a small introduction of my research center, CARTIF. CARTIF is an RTO that has a good experience on city transformation projects that I'm going to tell you in some minutes. The second point is going to be or share with you the necessary references in order to understand the city's mission. To be fully honest, the contents I'm going to present are already written in a lot of documents. Probably it's quite complicated to understand everything reading the documents if you are not fully integrated in this context, but I'm going to share with you the main references, and after this, I'm going to explain you what is the context and the main challenges of the city's mission. Quite important, quite specific, and fully in line with the European Union's Union objectives. The next point is going to be the key elements of the city's mission. The city's mission is a strategy. The city's mission is a plan for the cities towards climate neutrality in 2030 and climate neutrality in 2050. But the city's mission is more than this. There are specific key elements that conform the activities, the action plan of the city's mission, and I'm going to select the most important of these elements that, of course, are not unique. There are many more, but I think that these elements are going to be quite important. And finally, a couple of points that are going to be the first one, that is the main tool we have for support the transition towards climate neutrality within cities. That is the call of Horizon Europe, in which probably everybody knows that we have several opportunities on topics to finance specific projects and initiatives for support this city's transition. And finally, according to my experience and the experience of my institution, how to address these opportunities and how to find out our own role in this context. So with these contents, I'm going to start with CARTIF. This is for me a big pleasure to have this opportunity to explain what we are doing for the European context on city transformation. CARTIF is a research institution located in the city of Valladolid in Spain, with a lot of previous experiences on projects related with city transformation. In these pictures, in these figures, you can see that CARTIF is composed by several areas of expertise, areas related with environment, with industry and ICTs and energy. And in particular, we have a specific area of expertise called the smart cities, with this link in which you can read which are our main objectives in this area, that in general are support the local authorities to plan the energy transition, the climate transition toward the decarbonization of cities in the near future. So we have a lot of initiative in the smart cities area, and then my colleague Ruben Garcia is the head of this area with a lot of expertise on projects related with city transformation and participation in the different European initiatives in this area. And then probably the most important thing is that we have very dynamic participation in all the previous activities related with the smart cities. And I mean the participation of CARTIF in H2020, Smart Cities and Communities opportunities and calls was very active in the past, starting in 2014 with the project Remo Urban, that was a project coordinated by my institution, with the objective of regenerate or create a generation model for accelerating the smart urban transformation in the first call. In the second goal of the Smart Cities and Communities, CARTIF participated in a project led by the institution Tecnalia with the Smart and City project, with the objective to go towards smart zero CO2 cities across Europe. In the next call, we participate in the two opportunities in the call of Smart Cities and Communities. The first one related to the transition to the European cities towards a new concept of smart life and economy, the project My Smart Life. And in parallel, we were participating as coordinators in the other call, the Smart Cities and Communities, related with renaturing cities, the project Urban Green Up, coordinated also by CARTIF, with the objective of create a new strategy for renaturing cities through nature-based solutions. In 2017, we participated in a project led by the city of Valencia in Spain for maximizing and upscaling and replication potential of high-level urban transformation strategies, the project Matchup. And in the last call of Smart Cities and Communities in H2020, we participated in two projects related with the implementation of positive energy districts. The first one, Making City, led by CARTIF, with the objective of create an energy-efficient pathway for the city transformation, enabling a positive future. And the Atelier project led by the city of Amsterdam, with the city of Bilbao as well, for the create the smart cities, citizen drivens is the project Atelier. So these are our references with respect to our participation in smart cities and communities, and this is the reason why we are going to be very active in Horizon Europe, and we are active also in the context and in the framework of the cities platform and the cities mission. One important thing that I would like to share with you as well is that we are currently in the project coordinated by us with many European cities, and in particular even with Turkey City. I know that there are a lot of stakeholders from this country here in this presentation. And then, as you can see in this picture, we are collaborating with many cities in capital letters with lighthouse cities as Valladolid, Nantes, Groningen, Hamburg, Helsinki, Izmir, Eskişehir, etc. And in small letters, the cities that are acting as fellow cities or follower cities, as was organized in the Horizon 2020 calls, and as this is going to be organized in the next opportunities in Horizon Europe. We are also, as coordinators of Lighthouse projects, we are members of the board of coordinators of these, the leaders of these Lighthouse projects. And then we are also linked with the Scalable Cities Initiative, that is a city life initiative that created in the umbrella of European Commission and CINEA, with the aim of creating these links with the board of coordinators, but not only for that, but also for create and support with several services, as you can see in this figure, the framework of the Lighthouse projects. So we are being very active in this board coordinator, and from the past year, we are also linked with this initiative that is quite important also for the Smart Cities and Communities project cluster. And finally, the mission platform. That is one important thing that I'm going to explain in the next slides. It's also very important to see that we are involved in the Net Zero Cities project. Net Zero Cities is a European project financed by the Call of Green Deal in Horizon 2020, with the main objective of create the mission platform with several objectives that are going to explain after this in the next slides. And CARTIF is playing a good role. CARTIF currently leads the work package of technological services definition, and then of course is quite important for the overall approach of the mission platform. This the last real involvement of my institution in the context of the city's mission as a continuation of the participation of CARTIF in the Smart Cities and Communities projects, or the Lighthouse project, that many people knows as well. So the next part of the presentation is going to be to share with you the main references to the relevant documents for the city's mission in order to understand well what we are talking about. As you can see in this slide, we have a link to the main website in the European Commission website. That is the website of the EU missions. As you know, we have 5 missions. One of them is the climate neutral and smart cities mission with a specific objectives. You can read a lot of information, general information in this site, but in this site you can also find out the next documents. The most important are in the red squares. The first one probably is and the most important is the implementation plan on the mission climate neutral and smart cities. All of the information, the interesting information and the critical information about the challenges, objectives, and activities of the mission are explained in detail in this document. The other important document is a document oriented to the cities in order to inform them about their opportunities and their options to implement technology, projects, and activities for the main objective, that is to reach climate neutrality in 2030. Is the European Missions Info Kit for Cities. And the last one, from my point of view, quite important as well, is the question and answers for the climate neutral and smart cities mission. You can find a lot of answers to the most critical questions, and I recommend to check this document in detail in order to be finally well informed about the processes, about the opportunities, and about the context of this cities mission. And the other very, very relevant document is the program of Horizon Europe, the work program 21-22 for missions, in which, as you know, many topics are included, not only for the cities mission, but for the other 4 missions, in which you can find the main objectives of this first call, 21-22, and the topics that are opportunities to implement the solutions and to deploy activities of R&I projects related with the cities mission objectives. So after this context, you can be really well informed about the city's mission, but I'm going to extract the most important things in the next slides. Which are the contexts and challenges of the city's mission? And as I mentioned before, all of these contexts and challenges are expressed in the implementation plan, but I'm going to highlight the following. The first is that the city's mission aims to deliver at least 100 European climate neutral and smart cities by 2030. This is a very ambitious objective because climate neutrality means a lot of commitments, a lot of implementation plans, and as well investment plan. And for that reason, the second main objective is to ensure that these cities also act as experimentation and innovation hub for the others. It is quite important that we are going to advance the transformation of 100 European cities in climate neutral in 2050 in order to facilitate the transformation of the others in 2050. So it is quite important, not only 100 European cities in advance, but also acting as experimentation and innovation hubs for the others. Which are going to be the expected achievements of this process? The first one is that we are going to achieve at least 100 climate city contract. The climate city contract is very important I'm going to give you more details in the next slides. But as a expected achievement, at least these 100 cities that appears in the main objective are going to sign the memorandum of understanding from the city representative, the mayors or many others. It's not exactly a commitment for the city or a commitment with the European Commission. It's a commitment with their citizens. So it is quite important to understand that the cities are not only committed a transformation with Europe or with the rest of the world, they are committing a transformation with their citizens, and this is really important, and it probably makes a good difference with respect to the previous planning and the previous targets of the cities. The second objective is at least to invest 1 billion euros for the city level deployment and scaling up solutions for climate neutrality. It is quite important because it means that we need a strong investment plan in order to guarantee that we are going to invest this amount of money. This investment are not only this investment is not only public funds; it's a combination of public, private, with different financial schemes, business model, etc. The third very important achievement is that we need to achieve the development of climate neutral solutions, scale it up and deploy it in cities. And then in this point, the innovation, the technological innovation is quite relevant. And I think that we have the opportunity to deploy many innovations that probably are currently at lab level, and we can move to the real world. And the final 3 points are quite similar and are kind of non-technical approaches. The first one is related to the innovation in city governance. Try to progress towards smart, holistic, and inclusive city governance mechanisms. This is quite interesting because probably we are talking about innovative governance practices. We need to create a common monitoring and communication program or strategy in order to evaluate with standards the progress, the real progress of the cities in the pathway to the climate neutrality. And finally, it is important to increase the integration and support of the other public authorities, not only the local authorities, national, regional, probably European, for cities' mission. And then we need to make an effort in order to obtain this expected achievement. To obtain these achievements, of course, we need specific objectives. The first one is the development of this Climax city contract, including an investment plan for the deployment of innovative and smart solutions for climate neutrality. This is quite relevant. In the case of the 100 cities that are committed to obtain the climate neutrality 2030, they need a climate city contract oriented to this as an action plan, but including the investment plan, because according to our previous experiences in these plans, as for instance the CAPs or CCAPs in the past, the specific element of the investment plan probably was not treated correctly with respect to the commitment. So we are trying to, as cities mission, we think that it's quite important to include this investment plan from the very beginning and try to commit the necessary funds or combination of funds to achieve this transition. The second specific objective is related to the research and innovation pilots and demonstrations that are going to be the key of the transformation. And these research and innovation pilots come from different frameworks. The first framework is the mission platform that is going to finance specific activities of piloting and demonstration, but also, of course, the calls of Horizon Europe. And even in some cases, we could even implement a specific pilots, demonstrations, or maybe large-scale pilots at city level or district level, coming from another kind of resources. So this is quite important to work in parallel in the definition of the contracts, in the implementation of the research and innovation pilots, in order to create the good context and examples of a good transition towards climate neutrality. Another specific objective for the city's mission is to help the cities to develop administrative, financial, and policy capacity through innovative governance. As I mentioned before, if one of the expected achievements at the end of the process is to obtain smart practices on governance, we need to create from the very beginning this administrative, financial, and policy capacity. So, and then, of course, this is another area of expertise that we need to implement in this process, and probably concerns different partners and different stakeholders. Finally, another quite interesting and important specific objective is the put in place a strong and transparent system of measuring and monitoring the progress. And at this point, it's quite important to introduce at this moment the definition of climate neutrality that is based on 3 scopes of emissions, the scope 1, 2, and 3 that I'm going to explain later on. Quite interesting, because we are not going to say that we have to be climate neutral in the near future. We have the references to achieve this reduction of CO2 emissions, even removal of these CO2 emissions in the future, following different scopes. In principle, I advance that the European Commission wants to obtain at least the first and the second scope, and try to leave the third one for another phase of transformation. And the final important things related to the context and challenges of the cities mission are the financial resources. The European Commission suggests to combine most of them, as I mentioned before. In principle, Horizon Europe is the most important source of funds, at least for the pilots, demonstrations, and innovative initiatives. But other funds can be also important, even combination of them, as European Regional Development Funds, the Recovery and Resilience Facility, the Just Transition Funds, Digital Europe programs, etc. I would like to remark that private financing is also really important in this process. And then I think that at the end of the day, we need to combine at least a couple of them, or maybe 3, in order to obtain good results. Anyway, as I mentioned before, the commitment of the cities is to develop this climate city contract and also the investment plan associated to this action plan. So probably in this investment plan, we will obtain different schemes of financing for the cities, combining all of them, maybe part of them, of these financial resources. I mean that also national, regional, etc., are also could be also in this list. Okay, the next point, critical point, is once we know well which are the contexts and challenges of the city's mission, I think that it is also relevant to introduce the key elements of the city's mission. There are a lot of key elements for the city's mission. From my point of view, 4 of them are critical, and these 4 elements are going to be explained in the next slides. The first one is the mission platform itself. So I think the mission platform, as probably you know, is a part of a project, Net Zero Cities, that currently act as a mission platform. The Net Zero Cities project is a RIA financed by the Horizon 2020 program in the Green Deal call topic 1.2 in 2020, and is led by the Climate Kick. So this European project is organized in order to create the mission platform and many other deliverables very useful for the city's mission and for the transformation process, the city's transformation process. The ambition of Net Zero Cities is create this platform as a support for the cities, and in particular to use for all services, expertise to climate neutrality from the technical and financial sustainability, to develop an approach for the climate contract, climate city contract, for the metrics, for the citizen engagement strategies, etc. So many approaches to support the climate neutral transformation. Another main objective of Net Zero Cities or mission platform is help cities to build capabilities as a way of working to advance systemic change using innovation. And finally, create this kind of links in between the different cities and support large-scale pilots for R&I projects, network of twinning cities, or many other initiatives. So Net Zero Cities is quite relevant. As I mentioned before, Cardiff is a member of Net Zero Cities with a specific role, but many entities in Europe are members. In particular, the mission platform published a call of expression of interest a couple of months ago, only for cities, in order to receive the interest to be a part of the initiative of 100 cities towards climate neutrality in 2030. The final results of this expression of interest was very successful because more than 300 cities applied to this call. And then finally, after an evaluation process, I suppose that 100 cities are going to be selected to be part of this platform and to receive direct support from Net Zero Cities project or from the mission platform. Anyway, I know that the rest of cities that are going to be selected in this evaluation process are going to be also eligible for the different opportunities on Horizon Europe or maybe another course. This is the first action, and the second action that is running in parallel is the definition of the Climate City contract and many other strategies that are going to be sharing with the cities by means of the different actions of dissemination, communication, and exploitation. The second key element of the city's mission is the Climax City contract. The Climax City contract is the pivotal element of the transition to climate neutrality. As I mentioned before, the cities are going to commit a pathway to transformation to climate neutrality in 2030, and the Climate City contract is a key for this commitment in the form of a memorandum of understanding signed by the cities themselves. And as I mentioned before, it's intended to ensure that this is a clear political commitment, not just for the Commission, but also to the citizens. So it is a thing that probably means that we need to create a context of collaboration and fully participation of citizens in the process of definition of the Climate City contract in order to facilitate the final acceptance of these commitments, and of course to have to facilitate the acceptance of the different interventions that are going to be implemented in the city to foster this transformation. The cities, of course, should set out plans for the city to achieve this climate neutrality in 2030, and including the investment plan to scale up and deploy the innovative solutions for delivering of the commitment. Probably the investment plan is going to be the most difficult part in the definition, but anyway, it's the very, very important, more in line that in parallel with the technical approach in the Climate City contract. And finally, as I mentioned before, this Climate City contract will be co-created by cities with the help of the mission platform. And in particular, those cities that are going to be selected in this call of expression of interest, of course, probably will receive similar support, but in a different way for the mission platform, at least in terms of information, documents, strategies, sharing through the platform. In addition to the Climate City contract, it is foreseen to deploy a kind of mission label that will be awarded to the selected cities that have signed the Climate City contract, recognizing the quality and the ambition, the feasibility of their commitment. And it is expected that this label will leverage funds from other resources of the mentioned initiative. So the mission label is going to be the final fact on the signature of the Climax City contract, and it will serve as a kind of confirmation that the city is prepared for receive any other funds from other initiatives proposed or promoted by the mission platform. Another key element of the city mission is the idea of the 100 cities. And the idea of 100 cities is quite critical because, as I mentioned before, these 100 cities are going to be exemplary for the others, are going to be front runners, and then should act not only following their own interests, but acting as front runners or maybe as innovation hubs for the rest. So the promotion and showcase of these 100 European cities is quite important, and is going to be challenges and ambitious for the rest of the cities in Europe. And then I think that these 100 cities should be ready to go for climate neutrality, and this is the reason why, after the evaluation of the expression of interest, only probably the most ambitious, the most challenges projects, the most challenges planning are going to be selected, because it's quite relevant, and the role of the cities are going to be very important in order to foster this transition to climate neutrality for the 100 in 2050 and for the rest in for the 100 cities in 2030 and for the rest in 2050. And finally, Another key element of the Smart Cities mission are the climate neutrality targets. So I'm talking about a lot about the climate neutrality, etc. But we need to be more specific on that point. And then I think that is quite important to understand at least this couple of scopes that are related with the greenhouse gas emissions for the city. And we have 3 scopes. The first one is related with the greenhouse gas emissions for the city within the geographical boundary. That is mandatory for the beginning of the mission. And this indicator will be calculated based on the emissions from buildings, industry, transport, waste treatment, agriculture, forestry, and from other activities. It is quite important to understand the context of the calculation of the emissions related to this scope 1, because the different with respect to the scope 2 are in the calculation methodology. That in the second scope include indirect emissions due to the consumption of grid supplied electricity within the geographic boundary, and indirect emissions due to the consumption of grid supplied heating or cooling within the geographic boundary. It is a really important difference, because include a lot of emissions associated not only to the direct emissions in the city, buildings, industry, etc., but also include the indirect emissions due to the electricity production or losses in the grids, etc., or maybe include indirect emissions from the heating and cooling networks within the geographical boundary. So take into account that the European Commission is having in mind that climate neutrality means to achieve these 2 first scope and second one. But exists a third one that is related to the greenhouse emissions for the city, to be considered further, but not to be adopted before 2030. Quite important. So the 100 cities committed to achieve climate neutrality in 2030 should achieve scope 1 and 2, and the scope 3 in another phase of transformation. Scope 3 would be calculated based on the emission from out-of-boundary emissions for treatment of waste, etc. But the key element is that we need to consider also out-of-boundary emissions from transportation, out-of-boundary emissions from consumption made within the geographical boundary, etc., and other indirect emissions. The European Commission is foreseen to, or is planned to launch 1 or more R&I projects to consider this matter, and this is already interest for cities to join in such a project. So I think that we are going to make some examples of how, with technology, with new calculations, with new strategies, we can reach the scope 3. So we know now the main challenges, the key elements, the main targets of the city's mission. So I think this is the right moment to address the opportunities we have for the cities, but not only for cities, but for many stakeholders related to city transformation. And for instance, in my case, I represent a research institution, but as you know, technical providers, construction companies, utilities, or many other entities at the European level can be part of this transition. In fact, we need a big list of different stakeholders to cover all of this, not only from the technical point of view, but also stakeholders that can cover non-technical issues as economical, normative, regulations, even governance, or maybe social innovation. So it is quite critical to understand well which are our opportunities at short term, and then of course try to find which can be my role in this context. And then the goal of missions is published in the work program of the missions. In particular, there is a specific chapter related to supporting the transition toward climate neutrality within cities, the goal 21-22, that is proposed by the cities mission. And the main objective of this goal is the research and innovation to support the implementation of the climate neutral and smart city mission. In line with the objective of the cities mission, we have topics that will provide support on innovative approach to, for instance, the development of integrated urban planning and design, the deployment of demonstrations of positive and clean energy districts, activities related to public transport and urban mobility, and the start of a platform to coordinate the international dimension of the mission. So there are different initiatives that are going to finance these most specific objectives in the form of research and innovation actions. And then, more in a resultant way, all the actions funded under this work program will also foster the engagement of citizens and urban stakeholders, and then the integration of social innovation and user-friendly and secure digital services. So, despite of the topic, these critical aspects of citizens, stakeholders, and social innovation are critical to be integrated in all of the projects defining this call. Just to make a brief summary of the topic, let me show you the first topic that is related to urban planning and design for just sustainable, resilient, and climate neutral cities in 2030. We have the opportunity to develop innovative urban planning and design practices. So this is critical. This topic is related to innovative urban planning. So we can implement new strategies for the definition of the planning and design practices in order to identify, design, fund, roll out, replicate solutions and measures for the achievement of climate neutrality in 2030. Quite relevant because I think that we have a double process of planning and implementation. But in particular, this topic includes both. One first phase of the project will be the definition of these innovative urban planning and design practices, and the second part of the topic requires a real implementation or a real pilot of a city transformation following this planning. So quite challenging, quite important. With the topic requires a lot of cities involved working together, and I think there are a lot of different roles to cover for many stakeholders at EU level. The second topic is the topic related to innovation potential of public transport. The main objective is to try to increase the uptake of replicable public transport solutions, and then with the main objective that drastically reduce the city pollution, of course, especially in cities. But I think we talk about the city's mission is the main target. But anyway, I think that we could integrate a lot of innovative solutions for this main objective. And in particular, the topic requires enhance the public transport share in the modal distribution by 30%. So this is quite relevant. Lots of opportunities in the mobility context. So I think this is a good opportunity to deploy specific pilots projects in the public transport. The next topic is very special. It's a framework partnership agreement for the climate neutral and smart cities mission platform. So it's dedicated to increase the ambition of the mission platform. There are some doubts with respect to the real implementation of this topic at the end of the day, but we think that the framework of collaboration for scaling up and implementing the concept and activities of the mission platform is the main target. So probably the main actor to participate in this kind of framework partnership agreement is the mission platform and probably the members of the Net Zero Cities project. But in fact, we are having some doubts with respect to this, but it's a good opportunity to not only to support the 100 climate neutral cities in 2030, as this is foreseen in the mission platform and in the Net Zero Cities project, but the idea is try to increase the ambition of this support, so increasing the funds available for this support. The next topic is the topic, is very concrete, is the implementation of positive clean energy district. So the main objective of this topic is consider that positive and clean energy district is a good strategy, good mechanism to achieve climate neutrality in 2030. And then we need to test at large scale this idea of positive and clean energy district. As probably you know, positive clean energy district is not a new concept. This concept was defined some years ago, and the idea was a positive energy district. In fact, is very similar, and this topic aims to test the main aspect of successful conception of and rollout of positive energy districts by means of combination of demand measures and supply measures. As you know, the positive energy district means that we need to combine these demand and supply measures in order to obtain a positive energy balance in an annual period. It is very important, therefore, to achieve a lot of energy generation on site, the boundaries of the district, produced by renewables, so without zero emissions associated. And then many other technologies are going to be also in line with this idea to reduce the energy consumption, to increase the local energy production, as for instance, renewables at PV panels, or maybe solar thermal, maybe storage, in order to facilitate the management of these technologies, or even including electrical vehicles or building district management. And for the point of view of the demand measures, of course, reduce the energy consumption by means of energy efficiency technologies, or maybe to manage properly the grids by means of the strategies of demand response or changing the user behaviors. And of course, we need to create synergies in between the built environment and the rest of sectors. For instance, smart water, waste management, all the sectors, all the value chains that could also make achieve some influence in the part of reduce the emissions, or even achieve zero emissions in this in the considered area. So this is quite relevant. There are some examples in the last call of Horizon 2020, but anyway, I think that is very ambitious, and it is a good opportunity for many cities to create the good context for the transition. And the last topic with deadline in April is the global cooperation and exchange on urban climate neutrality. It's a coordination and support action in order to create the Global Knowledge Exchange Center on emissions reduction. I think that is a kind of repository. The European Commission is expecting a kind of repository of evaluated best practices, complemented with a learning community, etc., in order to share or to exchange experiences and practices on achieving climate neutrality. Depending on a definition, of course, is very special, but anyway, quite interesting for many partners at EU level. Finally, there is another one topic with the deadline in September of this year, and that is the designing inclusive, safe, affordable, and sustainable urban mobility. And the main objective of this topic is the collection of data for different, in order to gather the differences between patterns, behaviors, and habits in relation to the mobility in the different categories, but more focused on vulnerable road users. So it's quite interesting to identify these specific mobility needs, and even identify if we need to redesign the public spaces in order to take into account, for instance, the security of women, children, accessibility for people with disabilities, etc. So this is a very special and quite interesting topic, for September. Okay, I'm going to finish my presentation with the last part. Is the question that I have is how to address these opportunities as a partner, as a stakeholder at EU level, and then just in order to find out my role. And then I think that the first role I have identified is we need to support the cities in the transition towards climate neutrality. And supporting cities means that many cities want to be pioneers, but anyway, these cities need a lot of support to advance in the main commitments related to climate neutrality. So there is a specific role for many European stakeholders related to supporting the cities in this process from different point of view. I think that you can support the cities from the administrative, from the bureaucracy, from the financial aspects, or maybe offering technical solutions. So this is quite relevant to be close to several cities, one or several cities, in order to be part of the process, not as a single partner, but in combination with the needs of the cities. And for instance, this is the case of Cardiff in part, that we are close to several cities supporting the process, and then trying to push in the direction to take advantage of the opportunities they have for this city transition. The second point is an opportunity for technical and non-technical solutions, for expertise, in order to put in practice experiences to city transformation, technologies, methodologies, strategies, planning procedures. Of course, the cities need a lot of things related with technical aspects, but non-technical as well, as for instance, specific knowledge on participatory processes, on innovative governance, or social innovation. And another opportunity is of course related with the funds. So the cities probably will need a lot of help related to access to the funds. It is a very complex context, but it's a great opportunity. So to support on innovative financial mechanisms, investment plans, and business model is a good role for many partners at EU level. So I think that we take advantage of this and support cities and at the same time finding out a specific role for many entities at EU level. I think that second challenge for everybody could be creating new market opportunities. And then these new market opportunities arise because we have this main challenge of climate neutrality in 2030, and it is a huge opportunity to move innovation from the labs to the market, and in particular from very efficient HVAC system, for renewable energy system, for grid management strategies, for waste and water management system, for sustainable mobility, for ICT developments. So there is a good opportunity to take from the labs a lot of innovations and try to put in practice in demonstration projects or even in the real world as a relevant part of this transition process. So for research institutions, for universities, for tech providers, I think that these new market opportunities that will arise through the evolution of the cities towards climate neutrality is a very huge opportunity. And finally, another opportunity is to place the citizens in the core of the transformation. I think that is not easy. So maybe it is a good opportunity to improve governance practices involving of policy levels. And then I know that there are a lot of strategies and lots of theories that are ready to be part of this process and try to be transmitted and transferred to the governance bodies. I think that is a good moment to start working with the local governance, with the municipalities, with the regionals, policies, etc., in order to increase the quality of these governance practices and then adapt these governance practices to the new challenges. In the second point, the development of citizen engagement strategies in order to foster inhabitants' participation in the decision-making processes is quite relevant. I think that there are a lot of strategies to be developed. Anyway, it's a good opportunity for many partners to support in this process of participation, fully participation of the citizens in the process of transformation as the European Commission requires and the strategy of the cities mission requires. And finally, working in a multi-stakeholder and multi-sectoral approach, quite relevant because if we want to obtain good results in the transformation, we need to combine many stakeholders and try to link and try to work in multi-sectorial approach in order to obtain good results. So working is not an obvious activity. Probably we need a lot of strategies to combine all of the stakeholders and the sectors for the following the same target. So I think that any opportunity arises in order to favor the process and support the cities. And that's it from my side. So I would like to say thank you very much for your attention, and then try to thank to the organization once again this invitation to participate. It was a big pleasure to share with you my ideas. And then, of course, I am ready to contact with whatever you want in order to solve your doubts if I can. Thank you very much.
Many thanks, Sergio. I think it is time to answer some questions. Actually, we only have 2 of them in the chat box, Q&A box. Do you see them, or I can read them for you if you want?
Yeah. Okay, I have 3 questions.
Yes.
So the first one is related to the cycling and bicycle strategy. So to be honest, when we talk about mobility, everything is included. So I think that I prefer to say that we are going to talk about sustainable mobility and try to create integrated strategies for everything, not only for cars or for public transport, etc. So this is quite relevant to understand that the mobility involves everything, and of course, cycling and bicycle strategy is quite relevant. Anyway, to be fully honest, there is nothing specific with respect to the cycling and bicycle. For the second one, this is very good opportunity for technical universities. Of course, I think that we are talking about very ambitious transition toward climate neutrality. So we need lots of contributions from the innovation, from the research. And I think that probably the most important thing is try to have a clear idea about the context of the different technologies. So we can support the cities with technologies, but in fact, we need the company in the middle, supporting the process, taking the innovation from the universities or from the research institutions, and moving these innovations to the market. And this is not an obvious and fast process. Anyway, I think that the universities has a very good role in this process. So I encourage to participate in this process and contacting with city, contacting with providers, or maybe with research institution as Cartif that is private, is not a university, and then probably more connected with the market needs. What is the rate of bicycle strategy in the zero emissions? So to be honest, I don't know exactly if there is a specific rate for the bicycle strategy. Anyway, I think that this is going to be part of the strategy, but I don't know. Probably depends on the city, on the area, but anyway, I think that this is going to be part, of course, because with the bicycle strategy, we can reduce a lot the emissions and try to go in line with the scope 1 and scope 2. The next one is related about public-private cooperation, sensitive case in some countries, especially when we talk about public money. Okay, I think that this is not new when we talk about private and public cooperation. I think that is the correct approach for the city transformation. Without the participation of the private sector, probably it's not possible to address a full transformation to climate neutrality, because as probably you know, in some cases, the ownership of the different elements that should be transformed during the process are private or multi-private or multi-property, and this is quite important to consider that this property cannot be only funded by with public money. And then, of course, the private sector, companies, etc., can implement specific business models that can support the process, as for instance, the ESCO model that is well known, but many other in order to implement technologies in a most cost-effective way. I think this is quite relevant to study this private and public cooperation. But anyway, my feeling is that depends a lot of the country, of the city, of the region, and depends a lot of the structure of the ownership of the elements, etc. We have another question. The difference between Net Zero Cities Consortium and the Mission Platform that will be funded via framework partnership agreement. So this is a really good question, and it's a practical question with respect to the topic 0203. In fact, Net Zero Cities Consortium has the objective to create the Mission Platform. So the Mission Platform is the Net Zero Cities Consortium, and the framework partnership agreement is support and in order to strengthen the Mission Platform. But the practical aspect related to who is the eligible entity partner for this topic is under discussion. So to be honest, I don't know exactly how we are going to deal with the topic and the Mission Platform in parallel. I mean, the Net Zero Cities Consortium. So I think that the main responsible of Net Zero Cities are studying in detail their participation in the framework partnership agreement in order to answer to the questions, to the main question, that is who is going to be the applicant to this call. But anyway, let me say that Net Zero City Consortium and Mission Platform are the same thing, and the objective of the Net Zero Cities Consortium is to create the context of the Mission Platform and the key elements as the Climate City contract and any other strategies that they are going to share with the cities in order to support the process. So I have another one. Oftentimes, good evaluation of this innovation needs to be considered at the beginning of the implementation, as opposed to expose. Where do you see the role of evaluation fit in this opportunity? So let me think a bit about this. Okay, I think that no, I don't know if I understanding well this question. But I think, of course, when we talk about innovations to be implemented, I think that we are talking about innovations that are close to the market. So pre-evaluation of these technologies is necessary. I think that should be prepared to jump to the market. And I don't know if this evaluation fit in these opportunities. Of course, when we are talking about probably good results from other projects, innovation projects that are going to be ready to be implemented in this large-scale demonstration project. So these topics, as probably you know, are the topics closer to the market. So we need to implement technologies in a high level of TRL. So we need to start from well-proof technologies, as for instance, TRL 6, 7, in order to achieve TRL 8, 9 at the end of the project. So I don't know if this answers the question, but it's the thing I can to use, to say, sorry.
Okay, dear Sergio, many thanks for this presentation. You brought the vital elements into creation of smart states. You also touched upon the mission platform. You referred to the relevant documents that participants could employ along with the call topics. Quite an informative session that we have with you. As you all aware of it, we have another mission today that we're going to cover under this meeting. And today's second mission is the adaptation to climate change. It is no secret that climate change is our universal problem, and how we are going to cope with this global challenge. As a citizen of this world, I think this is our duty to come up with the ultimate solution. And speaking of this mission, today we have Tasos Karatkostas. He's with us. He's from Information Technologies Institute, where it's based in Greece. I would like to thank you and welcome you, Tasos, for being with us today.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. Just please a confirmation that you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see it.
Perfect. Thank you. So we are going to talk about the climate, the adaptation to climate change mission. Missions, as you all know, is a new effort of the EU with several fundings that are somehow interconnected. So it is not clear at the moment, for example, how all the different actions of its mission will be connected to each other. However, there are specific Horizon Europe calls that you should be aware of, and you can actually participate in relevant consortiums, submissions, and so on. So here today, we are going to talk about the mission and the calls in the mission adaptation to climate change. One of the first issues that we have to discuss here is how the EU actually define adaptation. So, which is very critical in order to be able to address the calls here. So how the EU define adaptation? Adaptation is the process of the adjustment of the adaptation to actual or expected climate and its effects in order to moderate harm or exploit beneficial opportunities. This is very interesting because usually we refer to climate adaptation only for the harm issues, to moderate harm. However, as you can see here, it's an important element that we can exploit different beneficial opportunities. In natural systems is almost the same. So human intervention may facilitate adjustment or adaptation to expected climate and its effects. One of the main issues, needs of this specific mission is the participation of communities and regions. So in the adaptation mission, regions are considered as territories that are defined in the nomenclature of territorial units for statistics. So you have to see if your region is NUTS 2 level, but sometimes, as they have referred, other regions NUTS 1 and 3 across countries can participate. And the most important is that a region should participate as a legal entity. Now, for practical reasons, they allowed to the participation of communities, which they define as groupings of people with social ties, shared values or interests, engaged in joint action. The most important thing here about the communities is that they should be represented by an authority that has the mandate to commit funds and to implement adaptation strategy locally. And finally, how resilience is defined. Climate resilience is the ability to withstand with unavoidable climate impacts. So all the measures, the solutions, the tools, the strategies, all that stuff that we are doing in order to withstand future climate risks is about resilience. These are the main mission objectives and the strategy objectives about smarter adaptation. Now you know very well what they are talking when they are referring to adaptation. More systemic adaptation, which support regions in more systemic approach, fostering collaboration between regions, promoting nature-based solutions, and faster adaptation in order to develop, testing, and scale up innovative solutions, demonstration of systemic transformations, and developing a common framework for climate investments. The overall objective, of course, of the mission, because as you understand also from the previous talk, the overall, always these missions have an overall objective. The previous talk about climate resilient, climate neutral cities. So you understand the difference of the main strategic goal of the mission. Here, the overall objective is to help at least 150 European regions and communities towards climate resilience by 2030. That's why we have defined climate resilience, adaptation, and so on, based on what the EU said. And the main goal is to help regions better understand and prepare for and manage their climate risks and opportunities, stimulate EU regions leading in climate adaptation to share their experience, guide other regions, and so on, and support innovative climate resilient solutions and help regions source additional investments. Now, about the work program. All these calls have deadline in April. And you can see that we have 5 calls. 4 of them are research innovation calls, and 1 of them is an innovation call. 2 of the research innovation calls, Clima 1 and Clima 2, include cascade funds, which is actually the funds that will be targeted and focused to have the participation of regions and communities. We are going to discuss one by one all of these. All of these have a deadline in April. And first of all, we have the Clima 0201. And the title of this topic has to do with development of climate change risk assessments in European regions based on a transparent and harmonized climate risk assessment approach. We are talking about a very, very large project, 20 million euros, and only one project will be funded. Here we have, as a project, as a proposal, as a consortium, the 60% of the EU contribution should be guided directly to financial support to third parties in order to reach at least 50 diverse regions and or communities. So you understand that this is a call that more than 10 million euros should go directly to support the funding of the regions and the communities. So the scope of this topic has 2 distinctive actions, but the consortium has to deal with both of them. The first action is about the development and beta testing of the climate risk and vulnerability assessment framework. So to create a multi-risk and multi-sector framework to enhance the region's adaptive capacity, to provide a common approach to assess their climate risks. So this region, which are the climate risks for this specific region, which are the specific characteristics of this region and how they are connected. Build on available data and services that the region already has and identify the gaps, that what kind of extra data we need, what kind of solutions we need to extract extra data. Focus on local and regional scale. And the budget of this one, of this first action, should be around 20% of the total requested EU contribution. The second action has to do that using the framework that we have developed in the previous action, we conduct climate risks, vulnerability and impact assessments in regions as the base to development the revision of this local emergency that already the region has. So to provide direct financial support to these 50 regions to use the framework, provide access to local and regional authorities to development of their risk profiles, should start not later than 12 months of the project kickoff, and the priority should be given to regions and locations with high vulnerability, limited resources, and low adaptive capacities. Here you can see which should be the target, or if you are a participant from a region with such kind of characteristics, it's very good to try to be involved in a specific proposal. Now open support line to interest regions and to account for the maintenance, update, improved design of the framework, and also this solution of the framework and the assessment should be open source, public and free and open license. The second climate 0202 has to do with support the regions in developing pathways towards climate resilience and corresponding innovation agendas. Here we have even larger project, 30 million euros, and again, only one should be funded. Here we have to reach 100 regions and communities, and 70% of the budget should go for this financial support. So we are talking about 20 million to support these 100 regions. The scope here is to support regional and local authorities to formulate their vision on the climate resilience future. This is quite open topic. They do not refer specifically to what it should include, but this should be connected with the needs and the current status of the regional and the local authorities. In addition to this support by the consortium, should provide extra support to the regions through grants to third parties and so on. So the pathway should include build on assessment of future climate change risk, reflect at the 10 areas of innovation transformation as outlined in the mission implementation plan, and take account the priorities identified in relevant programs. Moreover, these pathways should be inclusive and participatory, should be accessible as many regions as possible, should be given to regions with high vulnerability, and these are some more technical details that the regions and communities should start as soon as possible, within the 15 months of the start of the project. And another interesting issue is that this 30 million project expected to last 5 at least years in order to ensure that at least 100 regions and communities could participate and proceed with all the technical details, the climate risk assessment, the relevant plans, and so on. Now, regarding Clima 0203, towards asset level modeling of climate risks and adaptation. Here we have a 5 million euro budget, And two projects are expected to be funded. Here is in a research and innovation action, a more small-scale project and proposal, and the topic has to address the provision of asset-level information to public authorities on critical infrastructure. So we should consider multiple hazards, complex cascading effects, compound disasters, improved assessment models, including improved model coupling, critical infrastructures and how they are affected and be together with climate change risks, reconstruction costs, and also technical guidance on climate proofing of the infrastructure period of 2021-2027. Here, you should include in the proposal complex critical infrastructures, climate resilience experts, and how you are going to see all the problems that we are going to have with these multiple hazards, the problems in climate issues and so on will affect these critical infrastructures. So here I think that apart from the climate resilience domain, you should need for infra partners in the security sector regarding the critical infrastructures. Now, 0204 is the only innovation action of this group of calls, and we are talking about large-scale demonstrators of climate resilience, creating cross-border value. Here, it's a huge budget of 50 million, and we expect to have 2 or 3 projects. The demonstration should be at least in 3 regions, and we need this clear commitment from the regions that we participate and actually implement, and we need this letter of intent for their participation. Here we have these large-scale demonstrators. It's like the demo project that we had in FP7. These large-scale demonstrations with innovative solutions, measurable impacts, and so on, should address the specific needs of the region. Again, so the most important is to have this bottom-up and top-down approach in the user requirements and the needs of the region. And the most important is the third bullet, that no thematic focus is predefined here. Therefore, the proposal is quite open. So you can discuss and include any type of risks, depending on the needs of the region. If you going to have specific arguments, good arguments that the region has these specific needs, it's okay for them to participate. So we need collaboration here for region front runners and experience in climate resilience and less experience. So they make it very clear that you need partners from experienced in tools, methods, strategies, solutions in climate resilience, and not so experienced. At least demonstration in 3 regions, and at least demonstration should take place in less developed region. Again, this one, substantial investments from national European public funding programs. So this is a combination of that has to somehow the consortium try to figure even from this stage or the method to approach this issue. A clear is the commitment for the participation in the regions that they are going to implement the project, the plan, and also a scalability plan for innovation solutions and commitments for these large-scale projects and demonstrations. So we have here around 5 or 6 years, and the commitment should stay that these solutions and the implementations will actually stay longer in this period. Now, finally, the Climax 0205 has to do with the local engagement of citizens in the co-creation of societal transformational change for climate resilience. This is, again, a research and innovation action. One project is expected to fund it around 3 or 5 millions. Here, okay, if either you are going for 5, either you are going for 3. They say that they expect it to be funded 1, but in case there are some in this specific mission some budget that is still there, they can fund too. So if you are going to submit here, either 5 or 3. The support here is to support regions and communities participating in the mission beyond in strengthening the engagement of citizens in the co-creation of societal transformational change for climate resilience. So here we should somehow include parts of the city, groups of the citizens, communities of the citizens in the region. So this is the first call that actually make very clear that the requirements of the climate issues are not going to come directly from the region and the authority that is responsible for the region, but also they are going to come from the citizens and specific group of citizens. So the proposal should provide direct support and guidance on how to best to engage citizens and stakeholders. So the region include citizens, the region include group of citizens, how they are going to support it, how they are going to engage these citizens, undertake research and test innovative solutions on as case studies to better understand the success factor and new experiments, new innovative ways, engaging citizens, other stakeholders, and also to feed this information back to the regions and communities. So we have the region, we have the communities, we have the citizens, we have other stakeholders, for example, the market or the local stores and so on. So you have to define, you have to design this collaboration, this co-creation of common understanding to express the main needs as a whole and how they are going to address the problem. And ensure synergies between the mission and other relevant initiatives in engaging citizens and stakeholders at local, national, and European level, and to share relevant knowledge and experience in the mission more broadly. So these are the topics of this mission. I think that it includes calls that are, it includes a lot of things. It includes calls that are for regions and communities. So you should somehow, if you are a region or community, you should somehow try to be engaged either as a member or consortium, or if you are in the first two calls, you should try to receive these cascade funds from the consortium. Regarding the others, the Climax 3 and the Climax 5 are more regarding the assessment, the assessed level modeling and the co-creation of the citizens. These are two RIA more manageable that actually can be developed with 14 partners, something like this. So this is a more easy thing to do, but please pay attention that even in this Climate 3 or 5, you should include regions as a pilot cases. And then we have the Climax 4, which is these large-scale demonstrators in order for the climate resilience and how we don't know specific thematic, but you need to to receive all this information from the regions and to see what are their needs and how they are going to do, and at the same time to see the infrastructure and that needs relevant support. So these are the calls. So yes, if you have any question, let me just open the question and answer. Is satellite Earth observation interesting for the assessment of cities and climate? Yes, yes, it is. I understand this question. I think that for all these calls, we should have, for all these calls, oh, my apologies. Yes, for all these calls, we should have solutions. These solutions can include both technical solutions and also non-technical solutions. And Earth observation is very interesting, and I agree that you should be part of a consortium. Regarding the Clima 2.4, is Albania eligible for these calls? Yes, the slides will be free. Of course, there will be access. Regarding the Albania, I think that this is what happened in all the missions. I don't think that this is you are talking about the regions. I would not like to answer. I don't know, but you can come to me later, and I will have an answer about the regions in Albania. I think this is the question. Now, regarding the Clima 2.4, do you think it's expected to be that each participant region addresses almost all the climate risks, or maybe expected to be focused more on one of the risks for those indicating the implementation plan? Yes, here in the 4, okay. Okay, here we have no thematic focus. To be honest, I think that if the argument is clear that this specific region has this very specific okay, sorry. I will refer to this question again. Regarding the Climate 2.4, do you think it's expected from the EC that each participant region addresses all or almost all its climate risks, or maybe is expected to be focused more in one of its risks, of course, from those indicated in the implementation plan? I think if you focus in one major risk that it's uncomparable to the others, yes, you can do it. But if there are 2 or 3 risks, for example, a specific region has problem with the water level and has at the same time problem with fires and high temperatures, you should address both of them. Okay, thank you. Let me. Okay. Okay, is there any other question? Just a summary. I think that this mission topic has something for everybody. Has small projects, large projects, has cascade fundings, has a lot of things that each one of you can find a way to participate. Of course, the slides will be available later. Okay, I don't see any other questions, so thank you very much.
Hi, Tassos. Thank you very much for this presentation. I think we can move with the pitching session, and our first participant for pitching is here. I would like to welcome Mr. Erko, and he's from University of Tartu, and he will do presentation. I believe it will take 5 minutes, and then we're going to move with other participants. Hi, Erko, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you.
Can you show the slides or I show?
It will be much more better if you share your screen with us.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Can I start?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. Okay. Hi, my name is Erko Jacobson. I'm from University of Tartu, and my organization is Tartu University. That is the biggest and oldest university in Estonia, and it is almost in top 1% of the world's universities. And for Horizon and other projects, we have very experienced grant office who supports with preparing and administrating grants, so they can help us. And I work in Tartu Observatory of University of Tartu. It's a climate research team. We have 4 climate scientists, and our interests are climate model projections, climate natural variability and extremes, and co-occurrence of climate risks. And we're interested in this project Climate 0201, so this climate change risk assessment, and especially this better understanding of climate change related risks. And our objectives are to determine climate parameters, extremes, possible shift, and to determine changes in regions' vulnerability. And basically expected results are maps of climate parameters, extremes during climate change, and maps of regions' vulnerability with changes due to climate change. And we plan to use mostly initial condition climate model ensembles. Yeah, and that's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now our second guest is from Israel, Hila Rast, and working at Environmental Unit of the Sharon region. Hila, can you hear us first of all?
Yes, I can hear you very well.
Okay, thank you for being with us, and you can start if you wish.
Okay, great. Let's see that you can see my presentation.
Yes,
Yeah,
you see it. Yeah.
You see it full screen?
No, it's not in the full screen mode.
Okay, 1 minute. I'll fix that.
Okay.
Sorry. Do it quickly. Not sure. Okay, I don't know why it's not showing it, but this is what I have. Do you see me changing the pages right now?
Yes, we can see that you're changing the screen, but I think we can use it like this.
Okay, so we'll do it like this.
Yes, of course.
Good enough.
Yes.
Okay, so thank you very much again for the organizers for this very important day. My name is Hila Rothbard-Raz. I'm the head of climate and innovation in the environmental unit of the Sharon region. Quickly about our entity, we're a public organization that is funded by 6 municipalities. We provide services regarding environmental and sustainability to 6 municipalities, which is close to 300,000 residents. And like I said, what we do is basically provide consulting, developing processes, implementing environmental solutions for the Sharon region municipalities. Our mission is really to provide the most professional guidance to the municipalities, identify the challenges in each municipality, but also in a regional manner, and provide the right multidisciplinary solutions. Another thing that we're doing, and is important for this call, is that we established about 1.5 years ago the first regional forum for climate change adaptation and mitigation in Israel. So we're the first regional forum that's trying to address the climate change challenges, bringing together these 6 municipalities together. And when I'm talking about the research interest, so it's derived from this forum mostly. These are the topics we're addressing in the forum, and this is what we really want to promote via this call. So I'll do it really quick. There's quite a lot. What we're looking into is the topic of cooling the cities, looking at natural-based solution and green infrastructure. We're looking into social resilience and citizen engagement, renewable energy, energy efficiency, flood and water management, nature conservation, and again, natural-based solution for these challenges. We address the emergency system, climate change adaptation that's required for the emergency systems. Climate change adaptation of the educational systems. We're looking not only in the what has to be taught in the schools and so on. We're looking also at infrastructure, how educational system and educational facilities need to adjust to climate change. And 2 more topics that we address in our work is, first of all, wastewater treatment. We work with several wastewater plants, and environmental planning in general. This is one of our key assets. So these are really what we focus on. Our project idea, or it's better to say what we're seeking to join a project, which of course we're seeking to join a consortium, is for the 0204 call, large-scale demonstrations for climate resilience, creating cross-border value. And our vision, our dream, is establishing a living lab, a demonstration area for nature-based solutions. So really, in general, it's focusing on developing a regional living lab that can demonstrate innovative, locally tailored, smart nature-based solutions that can enhance climate resilience. As it was mentioned here before, key I forgot the word, but key elements that have to be in the project is involving stakeholders from the relevant sectors and have a transparent project, smart, that knows how to bring the community into the process. So that's our goal. And we also aim to emphasize in a project like this, really the synergistic and important link between the urban and rural authorities that are near each other, and the importance of them working together to address regional climate change adaptation. Our key asset as the environmental region is that we can provide a large-scale regional demonstration area, urban, peri-urban, and rural. As I said, we can focus on the local level and the regional level. We have large range of partners here in Israel, the academia, the government, private sector, civil society. We're very much connected and have many projects with them. So we can easily create a local team. And also we come with vast experience. Also the forum that I talked about, the model, how to promote the agenda in the local level. We have experience in adaptation mitigation processes, implementing cross-cutting municipal large-scale projects. So this is really our assets. And I added this slide, which is, I'm not sure how relevant it is, because we're suggesting an idea and really actually looking to join something similar. But I imagine that such a project can involve universities researching the different solution, the solutions themselves, smart technologies, civil society organizations that know to connect the local, the citizens into the process, of course, other regions and other countries, and communication partners that can then provide the platforms to bring the data online and so on. So that's pretty much it. If anyone's interested just to connect or talk about this option, so please feel free to contact me and I will continue from there. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. I see that you're interested in living clouds. Maybe you can find another participants in the pitching session who are interested in also. Like, I just don't want to give any more spoiler. But now we have, I think, Dario in our list. And Dario, are you with us now? I think we promote you as a panelist, but we are waiting for you to accept it. Thank you very much. I think there is a technical problem, so I guess we can move with Mr. Becker. And he's with us now. You can share your screen, and thank you for being with us. Thank you.
And good morning to everyone. Can you view my screen?
Yes, we can view it.
Thank you very much. So good morning, everyone. My name is Ofer Becker. I'm the CTO and co-founder of Solite. And we're an Israeli startup that actually does something very natural and very basic. We bring sunlight into existing buildings. And how do we do it? So our system is actually very simple. You can imagine a large periscope. On the right, you can see the rooftop collecting units, which gather the sun very efficiently with no moving parts, just based on mirrors and optical optimization. And the time-lapse video on the left shows you what it looks like inside. So within the building, you get the natural daylight that exists freely everywhere. And therefore, our systems bring into utilization existing natural resources, saving electricity in the process, and providing the living people indoors with the optimal natural sunlight. Our solution is existent in various sizes, and basically we focus on these benefits. First of all, we save electricity because we reduce daytime utilization of artificial light. Also unique to our technology is the capability to tailor the heat input into the building. So for very warm climates, such as Israel, our system is totally non-heating, bringing only the visible spectrum without any heat. For colder European climates, we can introduce heating in wintertime, non-heating in summertime, and tailor it to specific geographical needs. Also, an interesting benefit is that your artificial lighting becomes the secondary system and is usually seldom used in daytime, only when it is a very cloudy day. So your LED luminaries will last much longer because they would be hardly used in daytime. And the most important benefit in our view is that natural light is actually the best light for people and humans. So there is a multitude of recognized benefits which our system brings to any building where it is employed. We are interested in specific calls which could sync with our advantages. So we can employ our systems in zero emission buildings or other ambitious energy retrofits, where it can either be small scale for domestic residences. We have a solution aimed at private houses. And we have large scale solutions which could be deployed on a regional or let's say a district scale as well. So our solution would actually bring both energy efficiency, which is significant, up to 40% in some cases, depending on the building utilization. And on the other hand, we bring multiple benefits of well-being to the occupants, significantly improving their life conditions and environment, indoor environment. Our expertise includes the whole package from designing and assessing the needs of the specific building, running the optical simulations, and of course, providing the solution, including installation, on-site installation. We have done several complex projects in both new and existing buildings as retrofits. And we would be very happy to join forces with any interested parties. We have a lot of experience with the EU environment, being veterans of the Horizon 2020 program, and also having participated in several previous consortiums. We hope to join you and bring natural light to your project. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for this presentation. Now we have Yasemin Yılmaz with us. She's from Turkey and joining us from Muğla Sıtkı Koçman University. Dear Yasemin, can you hear us, first of all?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, it's perfect. So thank you for being with us. And I wish you luck with your presentation.
Thank you very much. And I'm sorry for being late because of my meetings here in France now. So my name is Yasemin Özdam Yılmaz. I'm an associated professor in Muğla Sıtkı Koçman University in Turkey, Muğla. And I am also the Sustainability and Environmental Education Chair at International Council of Associations for Science Education, which is an international association. So we are specifically interested in the Coal Horizon local engagement of citizens in the co-creation of societal transformational change for climate resilience. Let me introduce a little bit more about ourselves. So Muğla Sıtkı Koçman University is a state university in Turkey with over 4,000 students and 1,700 academic staff. The university has 21 faculties for graduate schools and institutes, 3 applied schools, 15 vocational schools, and 51 research centers. Our university have already been involved in significant national and international research, including FP7 projects, Marie Curie projects, Erasmus+, and we already had one Horizon Europe project as well. And we also, in terms of climate resilience and climate change projects, we have a recent collaboration with British Council, and it's about the research environment links topic and about the past and future of forests and how they react to the climate change. And we also have an action plan on conservation of campus biodiversity of Muğla Sıtkı Koçman University. Our university has a success in Green Metric Overall Rankings in 2021. And we also have in the university specific calls and research projects on sustainability, environmental sustainability mainly. And we also has a sustainable green campus coordinatorship, which is very active. And I am from the MSAKU Faculty of Education. So we are mainly producing pedagogical innovative tools and methodologies, and we are working on creating awareness towards climate change in all levels of education. Our research team not only composed of the Faculty of Education, though, we have researchers who have expertise in education as well as in science, biology mainly, and the engineering departments. We have other collaborators. So our project idea, I'm sorry, just a second. Yes, as I said, our interested core topic is the local engagement of citizens in the co-creation of societal transformational change for climate resilience. And our potential in relation to the core topic is we already have experience in meaningfully involve and engage citizens and stakeholders in the transformation to climate resilience in the regions and communities. So I have been involved in the adaptation to and awareness towards climate change projects supported by the Ministry of Education and Urbanization. And also we have Sustainable Green Campus Coordinatorship projects, which you can find on YouTube pages that I can share with you later if you are interested. Yes. Thank you for listening. You can reach me by this name, and I think I had my email address, which is my name and last name, and .mu.edu.tr. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much. And I think our next presenter is from Paris. Camilo is from Paris Climate Agency. Are you with us, Camilo? I hope also I'm pronouncing your name right.
No,
Please
yeah,
correct me.
I'm here, and you're pronouncing my name totally right. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Could you
Okay,
share your
perfect.
screen? Okay.
Yes, give me just 1 second. I'm just having some connection issues, my bad.
No problem. Like, we are here and.
So can you see my screen now?
Unfortunately, we're not able to see it.
It's good now. Should it be okay?
I think we are about to see it.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, now it's perfect.
Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you so much. I'm sorry about the hold on. It's good now. My bad. My apologies for the technical issues. As you say, yes, my name is Camilo Jimenez. I'm the project manager for external funding at the Paris Climate Agency. The Paris Climate Agency is an independent nonprofit organization that was created by the city of Paris in order to make the implementation of the Paris Climate Plan. We have a vast network of members and local partners, and the APC, as I say, like the Paris Climate Agency, is a key driving force for energy and ecological transition for actors in the city of Paris. We basically, like, our objective is to inform, advise, and to provide technical assistance to citizens, companies, public authorities, and civil societies like in the city. In that context, we have two expertise poles. We are the one-stop shop for energy retrofitting of condominiums. So we are the energy advisors to assist homeowners in their energy renovation projects. And in that context, we help them to fund the funding to develop these projects, but we also provide them technical support to achieve their environmental ambitions. And our second expertise is to develop projects that in a more general context. For example, we work with waste management, citizen engagement, energy transition, circular economy. We have already had the opportunity to work in 2 European projects. We work in ACE retrofitting, that was an Interreg project, and urban layering, that was an Horizon 2020 project that had as an objective to improve governance structures for energy planning in urban areas. Like, just to give you an overview of the added value we can provide in a consortium in related to the 5th call in the context of the climate change mission. The first one is the tools and initiatives to help to raise awareness. In the agency, we have developed a project that looks forward for the deployment of an initiative to engage households in order to reduce their greenhouse emissions through changing their energy, food waste, and mobility habits. This year, we're working with 150 households in the city of Paris. The second one is the animation and mobilization of local actors. I think that at the agency, we have an strategic position with the Parisian ecosystem. We work really close with the city of Paris. So in that context, it's really easy for us to implement solutions and to work with the city to find demo sites as well. For the third one, that is climate change adaptation and strategies, we have developed some platforms and some tools that help us to sensibilize the stakeholders related to the climate transition in the city, and also we work with the city of Paris to implement solutions that are innovative, that are created in the city. And the last one is the neighborhood experimentation for the implementation of the Paris Climate Plan. Right now, we're working in 3 neighborhoods where we engage the different actors. That is mainly the topic of the call where we are the most interested. That is the one that local engagement of citizens in the co-creation of societal transformational change for climate resilience. So basically, we can, in like the role we can have in a consortium is to look for to help partners to find a demo site in the city of Paris, but we can also be the expertise the consortium need to develop the project in Paris. Basically, these are the calls we are targeting at the moment. We're targeting at the moment at the agency. Of course, the priority for this event is the one in the mission. And just to be completely clear, like at the Paris Climate Agency, we're a different institution from the city of Paris, and that provides us more flexibility than the one that the city would have. So I think that I'm fine for the 5 minutes. I don't want to keep talking because I could keep talking for more time. Thank you so much for your time and your interest. You have my details here. You can also find me on LinkedIn if you're interested to develop a project in the city of Paris, or if you have a consortium interested in this call, and we're completely open to your propositions. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the presentation. Now from AIM+ Spain, we have Ana Palanca with us. Ana, can you hear us?
Yes, sorry, good morning. I'm here. Yes, and thank you for the introduction. So I'm going to share my screen and start my presentation. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see it.
Yes, okay. So, well, my name is Ana Palanca, and I belong to the R&D department of AIM+.
Ana, could you put it in a full screen mode before you start?
Yes. Now?
Yes, that's perfect.
Yes, working? Perfect.
Okay.
So, my name is Ana Palanca. I belong to the R&D area of AIM+. AIM+ is a plastic technological center located in Valencia, in the east coast of Spain. So we are a non-profit research center, and we work with more than 700 associated companies. Currently, I have more than 200 skilled professional colleagues in the background with chemical engineering, chemistry, also engineering. And we have more than 30 years of expertise. And our main focus is in technological development in thermoplastic and thermosetting materials from TRL 3 in the laboratory scale up to TRL 8. So we have different pilot plans to achieve our development. And from the synthesis of breakthrough materials, we start from TRL 1 up to TRL 3. And we have been involved in different European funded proposals from the FP5 up to Horizon 2020, and now we have successfully achieved some Horizon Euro proposal, and we would like to keep on working on this line and coordinating and also sharing different proposals. And regarding, as I mentioned, our facilities, we have a different pilot line focusing on the processing of thermoplastic and thermoset materials, also for the coating synthesis, and we also have clean rooms for the pharmaceutical area, and also different testing laboratories and training areas. So our research interest starts in the plastic field. So from the polymer synthesis of the materials, also in the different additivation of these polymeric materials to achieve different properties with added value which increase the added value of these materials, also in the production of commercialization of these raw materials, manufacturing and processes, and also focusing on the different sectors of the end users and interest. And of course, the recovery of the plastic waste and trying to minimize the CO2 footprint. And specifically, we have a broad expertise in the field of recycling, chemically, physically, and mechanically. Also, we work in the plastic blends, new compound formulation. We also have experience in reactive extrusion, synthesis and processing of biopolymers and renewable source materials. Also, we are specialized in assisted processing technologies, such as microwave and supercritical CO2 that we use also for the contamination of the different materials. We also have experience in CO2 capture and conversion systems that I will go deeper then after into this topic. Also in the catalyst development, plastronics, materials and technologies for additive manufacturing, mainly FDM, also high performance coatings with different properties, polymer nanocomposites and functionalization of nanoparticles, multi-layer structures, and development of plastic products. And specifically, for the smart cities and energy efficient building, we have some developments in the field of the advanced materials, for example, thermoplastic composites, heater and anti-icing properties, flame retardancy, antimicrobial antifouling. Then we work also with the smart composites, integrating sensors. Also, we have some curing monitoring and working in mold electronics. As I mentioned, the end of life of the materials is something which is key for us, and also in general for the society nowadays. So we work in the different recycling processes and also in the valorization of the materials. And then for the electrification, we work in the batteries, providing autonomous driver and car sharing. And also for the advanced production, we have in situ consolidation, thermoplastic pultrusion, process simulation, and some alternatives to autoclave. And for the energy efficient buildings, we have worked in smart materials, also with intrinsically active polymers, with also antimicrobial and flame retardant properties. Also, we work with materials of high specific surface area, such as aerogels, nanofoams, or nanofibers. And for the renewable energies, we have experience in biodegradable foams, functional coatings, printed electronics, and thermal and electrical conductivity. And the topic I mentioned before, the CO2 capture and separation technology, that we believe that could help a lot in this climate neutral topic. We have experience in functionalized nanoparticles and polymers for carbon capture and storage. Regarding CO2 capture, our research interest has also focused in mechanical organic frameworks, carbonous materials, zeolites, dendrimers, and hydrocalcides, and also in the catalyst design for CO2 conversion, which could help the processes and could be designed specifically for each kind of the process, and then the hydrogenation and oxidation processes, water treatment, and polymer recycling. And then also we work with membrane synthesis and commercial membrane modification, trying to adapt this and to contribute to this goal. And specifically, for these missions, we have some topic interest in which we believe we can play a role. So for the part of research and innovation action to support the implementation of the climate neutral smart cities, we have interest in the urban planning and design for just, sustainable, and resilient and climate neutral cities. Then for the unleashing the innovation potential of public transport as backbone of urban mobility. And the third topic is the design of inclusive, safe, affordable, and sustainable urban mobility. And then for the energy building stuff, we have 3 topics of interest as well, which is demand response, energy efficient residential buildings, smarter buildings for better energy performance, and designs, materials, and solutions to improve resilience, preparedness, and responsiveness of the built environment for climate adaptation. So all our research interests, we believe we fit in this aligned with the materials development and modifications. We think we could here provide some solutions and also cooperate with other partners to join together and meet these topic goals and try to help in this climate neutral way and around Europe. So thank you so much for your time, and do not hesitate contacting me if you would like to partnership with us, or if you have some questions, and because we will be happy to cooperate and to expand our network here for these new missions and the topics in Horizon Europe in general. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anna, for your presentation. I think we have Dario now with us. Can you hear us, Dario?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. Please tell me if you see it correctly.
Yes, we can see it now.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So,
Please go ahead.
good morning to everyone. I'm Dario Magliacano, CEO and CFO of Wastewater SRL, which is an innovative startup based in Napoli, in Italy, and also academic spin-off of the University of Naples Federico II, whose main target is the optimization and design of innovative acoustic package in order to reduce noise pollution in the new urban mobility and transport engineering, as well as civil and energy fields. This is a brief, non-exhaustive portfolio of the recent research projects of the aerospace department of the University of Naples Federico II, which is the one to which we belong in principle as our background. And we have two professors in the company, and then we are 4 researchers. So we are all from the we all have a strong scientific background, which starts in the early 90s actually, but here there is just a summary of most recent projects in which the department and soon also our startup Waveset is and will be involved. Most of them are at national but also European scale, such as Viper and Live-Eye, which are two Horizon 2020 Marie Curie doctorates. Our expertise, as said in the beginning, is mainly focused on the study and on the management of vibrations and acoustics in structures. Our company, we can say that it has kind of 2 souls. The first one is more related to a classical consulting approach and activity, both in terms of numerical and experimental sides, while the second one is more focused on the software development. This one is the, let's say, the most innovative of the 2, and it's linked to a development of softwares always for acoustical characterization and design of user-defined packages in terms of dispersion curves, absorption coefficient, and transmission loss. This is all done in-house. This means that starting from the codes that are at the base of this software up to the interface, of which we can see an example in this slide, they are all developed in-house, thus they are fully customizable for each specific needing. We are proposing these products on the market in order to try to help the design of more lightweight and more energy efficient multi-layered acoustic packages in the context, as I said at the beginning, of the new urban mobility, in which actually the noise pollution is becoming a problem which is always more concrete. And also there are several researchers that demonstrates how a long exposition to a noise may lead to health risks, which may be smaller or huge or more huge, depending on the duration and on the intensity of the exposition to the noise. Thus, this is part also of the new urban mobility. And here we also have some validation of our codes in structures that has a concrete interest from an industrial point of view. You can see that they are also complex structure, let's say curved honeycombs with a particular load condition, and these validations have been made in the past, both in terms of numerical and experimental comparison. This is just a summary table of our products at the moment. Each of them is based on a different numerical approach, thus we are quite versatile from this point of view, and each of these numerical approaches has, of course, its own advantages in order to be used for specific applications. We have no geographical restriction in our activities because we are selling intangible products, basically, and thus we will be very glad to enter in contact of someone which share our similar goals and targets in order to build a consortium to apply for some partnering. So thank you very much for your attention. I invite you to visit our website, maybe scanning the QR code. This is the team of Waves. So thank you very much again. That's all.
Thank you very much. And I think we have now Jose Garcia Cascades. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. If I'm not, please correct me. Jose, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear.
Okay, thank you.
I'm going to share my screen. Yeah, 1 second. Okay, can you see the presentation?
No, I am not able to. Yes, we can see it now.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Okay. As I said, she said, thank you for the introduction and thank you for giving us this opportunity to present our university and our research group. I'm Jose Garcia from Technical University of Cartagena. I'm a professor at the Thermal Engineering Department, and our university, as perhaps you may know, is in the southeast of Spain, in the region of Murcia, and we teach mostly engineering and economic degrees and masters, and it's a small technical university with about 7,000 students currently registered at our university. There are many research groups which carry their research in many fields of science, and mostly related to engineering. In our case, in our research group, which is focused on thermal energy system modeling, we collaborate several industrial, mechanical, and electrical engineers, and our experience goes back to the end of the 90s, and we've been working mostly on thermal and fluids engineering, both numerical and experimentally. We have several infrastructures which let us work on solar, thermal, and photovoltaic energy, and also on heat pumps and air conditioning system, which perhaps is our most important lines of research. In refrigeration, we've been studying numerically and experimentally modeling different systems, and in the last 5-10 years we've been working on the analysis of different heat pumps for hot water generation, and this is one example of the last projects we've been working on. We've been also working or involved in projects related to the efficient use of energy, always related to the use of solar, thermal, and photovoltaic energy, and also biomass and internal combustion engines. We have also worked on energy fields more related to nuclear energy in thermohydraulic aspects, even heat transfer aspects of nuclear security, and in collaboration with different French organs. In the Horizon Europe context, we are interested in participating in a couple of actions. Mostly, we are interested in cluster 5, in the destination 4, and in that one related to renewable and intensive energy positive homes. And considering the topic and the scope found in the description of this action and our experience, we think we could contribute to integrate renewable energies and for the production for heating and cooling, electricity production, and so on. Basically, based on our experience in this field, which is very, very important. And also later, the second action, which we think we could contribute as partners, is in that one related to smarter buildings for better energy performance. Again, we think due to our experience, we could contribute on increasing the energy performance of the buildings through different aspects related to optimization and integration of solutions which involve renewable energy, storage, the use of better alternative, better heat pumps involving different or new designs and so on. And this is basically the two actions in which we would like to participate as partners due to the subject and the great scope you can find there. We think that we, in the case we can participate, we should be as part of the consortium. If you are interested in know more about our activity, here you have my email address and also our webpage where you can see the things we've been doing so far. So thank you for your attention, and if you have interest, don't hesitate to contact me. Thank you.
Thank you, Jose, for your presentation. I think we have Cemre Avşar now, and she's working at Taurus Agri Industry and Trade Corporation. Cemre, you can share your screen and start your pitching.
Thank you. Do you hear me?
Yes, it's perfect.
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. Hope you can see the presentation. Can you see it?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay. Let me begin then. First of all, I want to thank the organizers for giving us this opportunity to introduce ourselves. I'm Cemre from Taurus Agri Research and Development Center. I want to start with a brief description of the company. Taurus Agri is a flagship company of Tekfen Agri Industry Group and the largest fertilizer producer of Turkey in terms of total installed capacity and market share. Holds a 38% of the total installed production capacity in Turkey. The company mainly operates on production of plant nutrients and high-quality crop seedlings. Taurus Agri is also a pioneer for having the first ever R&D center in the field of plant nutrition in Turkey. As the Research and Development Center, we aim to develop new fertilizer products, improve process efficiencies by optimization, also care about sustainability, contribute to scientific literature by our studies, and we collaborate in both national and internationally funded projects with a wide range of universities, corporate companies, and institutions. Besides, we also carry out some domestic projects with our own resources. We are a dynamic group having expertise on different disciplines, mostly on chemical engineering. I'm also a chemical engineer, by the way. Physics engineering, chemistry, biochemistry, molecular biology and genetics, and for sure, agricultural engineering. And a high percentage of the group continue their own education on graduate level, leading university-industry collaborations. Our research interests are developing new products or processes that will increase agricultural efficiencies and increase the added value of agricultural activities, all in the scope of Green Deal framework. But I want to focus on phosphogypsum subject in which I am conducted my PhD studies. We are looking for a consortium to contribute our expertise on phosphogypsum management, but I want to define the material first. As a fertilizer producer, Taurus Agri produces phosphate-based fertilizers in which phosphoric acid is the main raw material, and phosphogypsum is the byproduct in wet process phosphoric acid production, and we have plenty of phosphogypsum stacks both in Mersin and Samsun facilities, categorized as non-hazardous and inert waste, respectively. There are a number of studies dealing with the recycling or valorization of phosphogypsum. The most common application areas are agriculture, roadbed construction, and construction material production. These areas can provide an efficient, continuous, and bulk consumption of phosphogypsum, and there are lab-scale, pilot-scale, or even case studies available in the literature. We gave some advantageous examples of phosphogypsum utilization in cement or plaster industry. First of all, it can be a substitute to gypsum, used as a binder in hydration reactions, reduces the clinkerization temperature, and thermal decomposition product can be used in clinker production. I hope I could provide a point of view to phosphogypsum. And for those who are interested in collaboration with us, please visit our website and do not hesitate to contact me. I'm also available on LinkedIn. Thank you.
Thank you, Cemre. And now we have a duo from our R2M, Fabio and Laura, and they will do their presentation.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you and can also see you.
Perfect. Okay, so I will start sharing my screen. I hope you can see it in presentation mode from now on. Is it correct?
Yes, it is correct.
Okay, perfect. Yes, I also would like to thank all the TÜBİTAK team for inviting us and let us join this session, both to me and Laura. Yeah, I mean, it's since some years that we have a good collaboration with TÜBİTAK and the research centers from Turkey. So it's a very nice opportunity for us to explain what we would like to do and what we would like to work with some of the organizations that are here present right now. So I present myself. I'm Fabio. I'm project manager and proposal writer at R2M, and Laura, my colleague, has the same role in the company. I just wanted to say that following the pitches, I see that there are already some good potential for collaboration with the pitchers, because I saw many interesting potentialities in what you're developing. And for example, with Semra and the last one, which is involved in the agricultural industry, we want to develop a project on agri-photovoltaic, so that will be maybe interesting for you as well. And Laura will present one project that we want to develop on local energy communities. So I think that there are many potential opportunities for collaboration in this environment, and also offer we know each other because we work together, and I think that he was also happy about our collaboration. So I hope that you can feel interest in what we are going to share with you right now. Just a brief introduction about R2M. We do a lot of things, so it's difficult to explain what are we doing in like a 5-minute shot. But just to summarize, we are especially a consultancy company service. We are very experienced in European projects, both in Horizon 2020, and now we already won the first Horizon Europe project about electric mobility. So we are understanding how this new framework is working. You can see some numbers over here. I'm not going to repeat them. But what is important to say is that we have more than 10 years of experience on new European projects. We have multidisciplinary staff. We have many PhDs in our staff that can help both on the technical and on non-technical side, on the management of the projects. We have many like bilateral agreements with some of our partners in which we try to involve them in proposals and consortium that we want to develop, we want to create from ourselves from scratch, and we help partners and clients that want to develop their own ideas from scratch, from zero, to the final development of the idea, and hopefully to be granted to European projects. Our expertise is in the exploitation of the results of the project, which is like usually an individual work package in the European projects. And the name, as you can see, of the company is research to market. So what we focus on is to bring the research done in the projects, and we don't want it to stay there, but we want to try to find a market opportunity for that, and we want to try to find a market that can have it and where we can sell it. And you can see on the top right part of the screen that these are the 8, for example, projects, 8 products that we started to sell in collaboration with the owner of the projects that were research and development organizations from Horizon, from European projects. So this is our expertise, and we would like to continue to work on this in the future. So what we are looking for, this is the first call that we are going to work on. It's on agrophotovoltaic systems. It's an innovation action. So it's not like low technology readiness level, but we expect to arrive to TRL 7, so a demonstration of the system in a real scale environment. Like still a prototype, still a demo, but not just on a lab side. The deadline is quite short. It's the 26th of April 2022, but like with more than 2 months, I think that if we can start to work on it right now, we still have time for developing something very good. Maybe some of you are not very familiar with this topic, but agrophotovoltaic is, I would say, a quite novel way of using photovoltaic system and couple them with the agricultural infrastructure. So to have both sustainable agriculture and at the same time production of renewable energy in a way that's like the harvesting of crops is the most sustainable and the most efficient one, and at the same time giving benefits to the farmers and to the ones that can produce energy and sell that energy. So implementing and having a double benefit both from the agriculture and the economic point of view. So these are the objective and the expected results from the call itself. So you will be able to read it on the slides and on the and that will be shared with you. So I don't want to go too deeper inside this. What is important to say is that if you are a PV manufacturer, that I saw that there are some in the event, or if you are an agricultural company, clearly you will be interested in joining us, because we are looking for both a coordinator and some partners. What we offer is a proposal writing service. So we will help like companies or organizations or university to develop their own ideas and writing down the proposal to get funded from the European Commission. So please take our contacts if you are interested in working with us on that. This is like a very broad call, in the sense that it wants to take like different steps from different sides of the sector, in the sense that it's not only the technical part of developing a new agri-photovoltaic system, but it also take part in the financial business model. So try to find a way to sell it in a financial and agreeable way. But also, like on the environmental side, this new system has to be from from an environmental point of view, almost zero emissions, but also it has to have a circularity potential. So in order to develop it, like maybe some reusable and recyclable material have to be involved. Last but not least, like a strong involvement of citizens and civil societies is required in this call. So it's a very broad call, like different expertise are needed for this. And in this slide, you can see what we are thinking about to have as a consortium. So this is the list, as I was saying, not only the technology provider and engineer companies that will clearly be the main point, the focal point of the proposal, because it's about creating and developing a new agri-photovoltaic system. But at the same time, we need farmers that want to try this new technology and to be the first one to use it. So in a pilot site. As I was saying, like also sustainability organizations, because we have to assess the environmental impact of this new technology, which kind of materials can be reused, etc. Also, the social science and humanities part is important, because we have to involve people in and final users to understand how they can benefit from this new technology, because it's not very well known, but it can bring many different benefits. And what we were thinking is also to have like the support of like a small municipality or an NGO focus on rural development in rural areas, so that's like we also have the decision-making support for our project. And then there will be us that we will take the responsibility of the exploitation of the results. So try to find a market for this new developed system and studying how it can be sold in many different ways and countries. So this is in a nutshell what we would like to develop. Again, the deadline is 26th of April. If you want to contact me, please do it. The email is at the end of the presentation. And now I let the floor to Laura, my colleague, who is going to present another call that we're interested in about local energy communities.
Thank you, Fabio. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. So we are also interested in this other topic. This is a bit more long-term, since the deadline is in September, and it's focused on demand response in energy-efficient residential buildings. Even though it's not directly mentioned in the topic, we would like to focus the project around the context of energy communities. We, as a company, we are trying to push the development. We are learning in many different projects about the different aspects that influence the development of energy communities. So in this one, we would like to focus on how energy communities could provide flexibility from the demand side. This project also, it's quite multidisciplinary in the sense that we do not only need the technical partners to develop the demand response solution, but also we need to take a close look to the social and economic enablers for these innovative solutions, and also take into account the active citizen engagement, since this is a key part for them to have a key role in the energy transition. And this is very aligned with the idea on the concept of energy community. So that's why we want to merge it here. If you go to the next slide, Fabio, as I was mentioning, we still do not have a specific project developed or idea, since we do not have the key partners yet. So the idea and the core concept would be developed around which partners we find interested to join us. But again, around the concept of energy communities, and that's why we also would need social science and humanities partners to help us with this social innovation, to lead to the engagement and the development of new social practices. But also, since we do need to demonstrate the solutions in pilot sites, in specific communities, since it's an innovation action, we would like the participation also from public authorities, associations, and cooperatives that could help us make this link between the citizens and the technology providers, and do it in a kind of co-creation way to make sure that the solutions are accepted and also come from a bottom-up approach. From R2M side, as Fabio was mentioning before, we could focus on the exploitation of the results, bringing the solution closer to the market, doing an analysis and develop business models for the different technologies that could be developed, but also for the solution as a whole. But not only. From R2M, we also have a development team that are experts on modeling of buildings for the optimization of the energy in buildings. So we could have this role also in the proposal, but of course it could be further discussed depending on the interest of the technological partners that would like to be involved. So please contact us if you are interested. We have still time to develop this proposal since it's for September, but anyway, the sooner the better, so we can have a competitive proposal. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to both of you and for this presentation. I hope you can find the right partnerships. And now we have Burak Karahan from Bodrum Living Lab. Hi, Burak. Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Let me share my screen. This. I hope you can see it, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. My name is Burak Karahan. I am the General Director of Bodrum Living Lab. Bodrum Living Lab is a certified living lab by ENOL, which is European Network of Living Labs. Bodrum Living Lab is the third certified living lab for Turkey. Bodrum Living Lab is a multi-stakeholder platform that aims to create real-life test and experimentation environment in which users and producers co-create innovations. As ENOL certified, our living lab, Bodrum Living Lab, has started its operation in mid-2021. We are providing incubation, idea validation, stakeholder involvement, real-life testing opportunities, and venture building services to startups we work with. We are aiming to put in place open innovation practices to develop smart city solutions that fit the needs of our city and its citizens, which is Bodrum. We are planning to launch an open call for startups that focused on smart city and digitalization projects. So we have 4 key areas for verticals we focus on mostly, but this is not limited. These are not limited to these actually. First one is innovative maritime. As Bodrum is a peninsula, we are creating projects to make maritime industry in Bodrum more efficient, more innovative, and to be more leading player in a international scene. And the second one is smart agriculture. We are facilitating projects to increase agriculture efficiency per square meter, to reduce agricultural pollution as much as possible, and direct our agricultural specialists to innovative agricultural practices. And we have another vertical, which is year-round tourism. Bodrum is a very well-known place for tourism, but we are focused on year-round tourism here. So we are facilitating projects to keep tourism in Bodrum for 4 seasons and make the Bodrum to be a leading digital nomad destination for Mediterranean and Asian area. And another focus area is well-being. We have an ecosystem and we have partners from very well-known facilities, which is LifeCo, and we would like to make Bodrum a healing city and make our citizens live longer. We would like to have a holistic approach to climate neutral and smart cities. And we are going to open the call for these startups. So our main objective is to find and collaborate with the partners that focus on these areas. First one is the transport, like car sharing, electrical vehicles, digitalizations, or mobilization as service, or any other ideas can be submitted to our open calls. Also, waste management, like recycling, biodegradable waste management, food waste prevention, and wastewater reuse, sustainable buildings, and etc. These are the second topic we focus on this open call. And renewable energy, smart city solutions, and agriculture for sure. These are the main topics we focus on for this open call. Also, our second objective is establishing a sustainable relationship between startups and our local stakeholders by creating testing and development opportunities in Bodrum, involving and enabling local stakeholders in the innovation process of the solutions. And what we expect to have as a result to make Bodrum carbon neutral city by 2013. So we already have few partners. Our main partner is Bodrum municipality. We are working on these 100 cities as a carbon neutral city for 2030. And Bodrum Chamber of Commerce, our stakeholder for Bodrum Living Lab, and Shelix Smart Solutions is our digital transformation partner. Lifeco is our well-being partner, as I mentioned before, and we have Başakşehir Living Lab. It is our twinning living lab. So it is our living lab partner. So what we look for as a partner, we look for a digitalization partner, transport partner, agriculture, well-being, renewable energy, and we also look for partners from academia, which can be universities. I already seen Muğla Koçman University has participated, so maybe that would be a good match after this session. So thank you for listening to me. You can reach us anytime. These are my contact details. This is my phone number, and you can reach us by mail or by our website. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we have Simon Ciordi from Snapcore City.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see it. Could you put it in presentation mode then?
Yes, of course.
Okay, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm Simone Chiordi from Digital Lab, University of Florence. Here you have my contact and the contact of our director, the director of the research lab, Professor Paolo Nesi. We provide a Snap for Cities that is a totally open source platform for smart cities, but also for Industry 4.0. The platform is an official powered by Fever solution and platform. And inside the Digital Lab, we have also 2 certified Fever experts. And the platform is used actually by the Florence municipality for the Smart City Control Room, and is also installed on the ISPRA Joint Research Center of the European Commission, the biggest research center in Europe. We are also a member of the European Open Science Cloud, and our projects, the project we did in the past and is actually now in developing, it's founded by the European Commission, is like Heritage Data for the cultural heritage protection and validation. or Mobimart for the mobility on the Mediterranean Sea and the portual cities. We also participate in Replicate, Resolute, and Trafair project, that is for the implementation of predictive models for pollutant from environmental data. So our main skills are focused on the data modeling and management for all the domains concerning the smart cities. So from the climate, environmental, energy, and also mobility, but we cover all the whole domain related to the smart cities, mainly focus on the data discovery, gathering, and the big data management. We can provide also the digital twin for the cities, and we can gather the Copernicus satellite data on the platform, directly on the platform. Our main expertise is focused on the artificial intelligence algorithms and data analytics concerning the prediction modeling and anomaly detection, but also clustering and natural language processing for all the domains in which the city works. So for traffic, parking, but also for all the pollutants in the cities. At the moment, the Snap4City platform is installed in more than 9 countries in Europe, but also we have an installation in Israel and a training course in Japan. Here you have the list of the platform is running at the moment. You can think we collect more than 2 million of structured data per day, and we have 4,800 users on the platform. All this information, you can find all this information on snap4city.org. So here you have an example of the installation we have in the city of Florence, Pisa, and Livorno for the eye prediction modeling and the quality of life evaluation. In this case, with the data coming from the environmental sensor for NOx, we can predict 48 hours in advance the NOx flows and levels in the world cities, also considering the data for the traffic flows and the structured model of the building in the cities. We have also performed a 15-minute city index that from the national energy provider has been integrated for the whole Italy area, and evaluate the 15-minute city index levels in each areas of the cities. The areas is 500 meters square, and for each point it's evaluated 13 different indicators of the level services, for example. And but we can also do the what-if analysis or prediction modeling, just I say before. And so here you have a list of the calls in which we are more interested. We will be glad to participate and bring our expertise in these calls, but we are always open to evaluate to join in consortium or in other calls that are not mentioned here. So don't hesitate to contact me or to contact my director. Here you have our contacts, and then you can check all this information on snap4city.org. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. I think this was the last presentation that we had today, and I would like to thank each and one of you for this outstanding presentation. And actually, I have a list to thank. And for starters, I would like to thank TÜBİTAK for organizing this event, and they put a lot of effort and they were so hardworking to make this event come true. We had the number of between 800 and 900 people participated and registered to this event, and you can make a guess about the presentation that we have received. And our NC, please review each and one of this presentation and try to find the best of them. And I also would like to thank our ENM partners, our friends at Sabancı University, who are the co-organizer. And yeah, thank you very much. And I also would like to mention that in less than an hour, we have our What meetings on Be Too Much. Do not forget to join your meetings. And if you have a meetings on pending, please use your chance. And I hope you will find the right partners for you. If you will find your partners, please let us know. And thank you very much one more time. And for the final, we will share the presentation after each presenter give their consent for us to share with you. Yeah, thank you very much.